Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Phil Risher, and on today's episode, we are diving into building an 8-figure home service business while getting more free time while doing it with Phil Green. Thanks so much for joining us today, Phil.
Hey, thanks. Glad to be
Yeah,
here.
yeah, for sure. So, Phil is the founder of Rapid Repair Pro, which is a home service business that evolved from a remodeling startup in 2007 into a full service, system driven company serving the St. Louis area. With over 30 years of hands on construction and service experience, Phil now helps other trade business owners build scalable and profitable operations, applying the same principles that transformed his company. And talking pre-show, the thing that really excites me is that not only is he just help people, but he's actually doing it himself, which that's what I appreciate about myself as well. I've been in the shoes of having technicians and doing all of these things. So it's nice to talk to people that have actually done it. So with that, Phil, could you give us maybe like minute, 2 minute summary of like how you got to this point and like what you do and what your business is?
Yeah. Um, so I started out in remodeling, like you said, and then in 2015, I started actually a restoration company, uh, purchased a franchise and went in partnership with
Okay.
my son.
Nice.
And then in 2019, I sold my share of that business to him, and I rebranded my remodeling company, which I had kind of scaled back a little bit on
Yeah.
into Rapid Repair Pro, focusing primarily on smaller projects, handyman, smaller remodeling jobs. Um,
Nice.
so, and I'm in the St. Louis, Missouri market. Um, since then, I've scaled that up to the point where I have 5 technicians on the road. I have a team that takes care of my admin, takes the inbound calls, does my marketing for me. A team of 3. I use virtual assistants out of the Philippines to help me with that.
Awesome.
So, and my sole role is just to, lead the people,
Love it.
make sure things are going the way that I've designed them to go, and it allows me to also spend time mentoring other guys that are kind of getting started in the business, kind of guide them, direct them the ways to go and how to get their businesses rolling, and give them some time freedom.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it sounds like when you were working with your son through that franchise experience, was did you learn anything inside of that experience of maybe like SOPs and processes of scaling, or was there something that you could take away that quickly got you to apply that to this Rapid Repair Pro that got you to scale quickly?
Yeah, absolutely. The thing about a franchise is you're buying systems, right?
Yeah.
So when I got into that, and actually that first year when we bought that franchise, I scaled that business to $1 million in the first year, and
Wow.
got
Okay.
the received the franchise or the Rookie of the Year award from that
Wow.
franchise. So I couldn't have done that on my own. I
Of course.
learned that having systems in place for everything you do is the key to business.
Yeah.
The old way before, I mean, my life was business before as a remodeler. I was a typical remodeler. It was kind of chaotic. I was always wearing the tools, always putting out fires. Didn't know how to grow. Didn't know how to hire. Always thought there were just no good people out there to hire.
Yeah.
So having systems and following a process is definitely the way to go.
Yeah. So people that listen to this show, they're, like $1 to $10 million type home service businesses. What would you say is a system or two that helped you scale? Like, is it your sales system? Is it your inbound call script? Is it managing by the numbers? Or what would you, if you could pinpoint like two or three maybe?
Well, I think the first thing you gotta kind of get down correctly is how to get customers, and then what do you do with them when you get them, right? So
Hmm.
that you can develop some consistency there. Um, Even when you're the guy doing everything in the beginning, you need that, right? Because otherwise, you get busy working in the field, and the phone rings, and you do it differently every time, or you don't realize you sound rough, or
Yeah.
you sound like you're aggravated, or you you forget to follow up, you don't write it down, you don't get all the details, or you go to look at the job and you end up having to call and go back because you missed something. So that's got to be number one, so that you can do that even yourself. You got to train yourself to do it right.
Hmm. Like a good customer intake process.
Right.
Someone calls, have a script, follow
Right.
this process,
Yeah.
get them through your funnel, not
Yeah.
just like, oh, what's your cell phone number? I'll text
Right.
you back and send me some pictures.
Right. And it not only helps you develop a consistent process to capture all the information you need, but by doing that, later down the road, you'll have a lot of valuable information that you can use for your business. For marketing, reaching back out to people that didn't buy from you the first time, or determining where your calls are coming from, which marketing methods are working for you. There's just so much information there that if you don't have a process and a system to capture it, I mean, you're literally um, missing out on a bonanza right there.
Yeah, for sure. One of the big things that I faced when I was at a $3 million home service business was we got a lot of inbound calls, and we did like everyone's price shoppers. How much does it cost to do this? How much does it
Right,
cost to do this? And we didn't have a good process for overcoming the objection and capturing their information. We were just almost like order takers, like this is the price, see you later.
right,
And once we fixed that process, which was like, well, I need a little bit more information from you in order to give you this thing and a little bit more salesmanship, we ended up closing a lot more deals, and we
hmm,
actually had a refined process that then we could bring someone else on and get them up to speed. It wasn't just like
right.
spitballing ideas. Oh, this person's nice on the phones.
Exactly. If you don't have that, you'll never get off the phone yourself
Yeah.
because
And
you'll
that got
hire somebody that you'll think is going to do it for you, and they don't know how to do it. They just don't have anything to go by. That's a
exactly.
disaster.
Yeah, one of the things that we see with like $1 to $3 million home service businesses is a lot of times they're stuck in that sales role, or like the firefighter, the swamp of like they got to put their touch on it. They have to be the sales thing. And I'm very curious about your business, specifically handyman, because every time I talk to a handyman, it's like every job is different. So like, how do you even price it? And then how do you like get your guys to price this stuff? So I'm curious like how you solve that to get 5 technicians and be able to like, have a system.
Yeah. I use a very simple process for estimating. It doesn't require, um, you know, figuring every nut and bolt and wire nut and everything on every job.
Yeah.
It's basically you look at a job and you just determine, okay, how long is this job going to take me to do? And even I can train a technician to do this. So if he looks at a job and he goes, okay, I think I can finish this job in 3 hours. Okay, then I have a dollar rate, not that we give customers, but
Yeah.
that the technician uses to estimate, or whoever's
Yeah.
estimating.
Like a burden rate. This is what it costs
Well,
you to run.
it'll be, for say example, it's $180 an hour, just to use
Hmm.
that number as an example. That number would cover the labor, the basic materials on the job, and the overhead and profit.
Exactly.
So, but what I also do is I don't let them go by, okay, I think it's going to take 3 hours. They have to bump everything up. So it's either up to the 4 hour block, or anything over 4 hours gets bumped up to the 8 hour block. And that makes it very simple to estimate. And it's always, pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So that works well for us.
Yeah, I think for people that are out there listening to this, one, you got to try to figure out how you're going to standardize your price, and whether that's going to be on time blocks. Like what
Right.
my home service business was, we had 3 hour time blocks. And then
Hmm.
we knew you're either going to fit in the first time block, the second time block, or the third one, or all three, depending on the size of your job.
Right.
We can ask you a couple questions and we'll figure that blocking out, and we'll be able to give you some type of ballpark price.
Right.
For a lot of people, if you're listening to this, like your HVAC, plumbing, electrical, you're going to be using dispatch fees and you're going to have to go out there, but you got to try to standardize the process so that way everyone's on the same page.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you talk to me a little bit about like, okay, you got this basic stuff in place, you got a couple technicians and CSRs. How do you manage the business? Like, do you have an operations director, a sales director, marketing, finance? And then like, how do you actually pull the strings and set the vision, like what you said that you do?
Yeah. So this year I took on an operations, I guess you call him an operations manager.
Yeah.
He manages the guys, he schedules them. He actually goes out and does, he'll meet clients and do estimates.
Okay.
Um, So, and I found him by specifically looking for a guy who was working for himself and just sick of everything he had to deal with, and not never making any money. So I found a really good guy who does a great job, and now he's doing well, doing very well actually. And so that took care of the operations side. As far as the marketing, I personally decided to hire someone full time
Mm,
to do that for me,
sure.
rather than some of my experiences in the past. So I work with her. Like I said, she's a VA. She's got
Yeah.
experience in it. Does a good job. I work with her on my goals for what I want her to do, what I want to try to areas in marketing I want her to work on,
Nice.
and then the call center, the guy that answers the calls. Of course, I develop scripts for him, and send him on um, some online training for sales and things like that. And then I have an assistant that kind of watches them and helps me with the admin side, documenting all these processes work, because processes are always changing, right? They're always developing.
Yes. I think people listening, it sounds you make it sound so easy, but it's like that is a pretty like lean, clean business that you can operate. Like you got someone that's overseeing marketing, someone who's answering the phones, someone to help you out as almost like an executive assistant,
Right.
guys in the field, someone to manage the guys in the field,
Yeah.
and then you can be the one that sets the vision, make sure that everything's
Right.
working. Like that's a clean business and it's a scalable business and things are
Right.
working. So I what I'm hearing you say is you got to replace yourself in all these
Yeah.
buckets and have team members that you can hold accountable to results.
Right.
And then it's kind of plug and play from there, which is beautiful.
Absolutely. And you got to be able to, you got to be, you got to be able to lead and delegate.
Mm,
You got to tell them what you want, what it
yeah.
looks like when it's done.
Yeah.
So it's no different. I kind of always say that it's like being a football coach.
Yep.
You put a team of players together. You design the plays. You tell them what plays to run with what time, and then you train them on how to do it, and you send them out and let them execute.
Yeah.
That's no different than that.
Yeah. It's so funny because I use the same example with my team. We have 17 people, and I'm like, okay, I used to be a player. I used to be the quarterback. I used to be the wide receiver. I used to
Yeah.
be the running back. And then now I'm like on the sideline, like
Yeah.
coaching,
Right.
and I'm watching the plays happen. And I got to let you run that play, and you're going to probably fumble. But like,
Right.
I got to let you do that and then coach you on what you need to do better.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's easier just like, let me get the helmet on and go in here and like run this 2 minute drill, but it's
Right.
like you can't do that.
Right. No, you can't. You got to coach.
Yeah. What would you say? Do you use like a CRM like to keep track of all this stuff, or how do
I
you?
do. I use Jobber.
Oh, you use Jobber. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool. I was just on a webinar with Jobber earlier today, so
Oh, right.
funny. Yeah, I'm a Jobber brand ambassador, so
Okay.
yeah, pretty cool. So Jobber, I think for a lot of people, if they don't have a CRM or they're not using their CRM to the full extent, they're missing out. And I would imagine for you, um, when I talk to people, they're like, "Oh my gosh, how could I have someone that's overseas, let alone not in my office, and manage them?"
Yeah.
And the thing is that you have to use your CRM to be able to look at the numbers. So can you talk to me a little bit about like how you work with an outsourced team? Like what is your day to day? Are you meeting with them every single day? Do you have goals that they need to hit? Do you are looking at certain numbers? Like what does that look like?
So I meet with them on Monday mornings.
Okay.
My VR team and my operations guy, we have a virtual call on Monday mornings where we go over each one of them's job, what they've been doing, what they need, anything like that. Um, and then every day, each one of them has to fill out an end of day report listing what they got accomplished for the day.
Hmm.
And that gets submitted to me on Slack at the end of every day.
Nice.
In addition to that, I mean, I've laid out, um, KPIs for each of their roles. Like the call guy um, he has a KPI for his booking rate.
Okay.
The marketing girl has KPI for a number of leads, qualified leads every week. Um, and so they each know, what's expected of them. And then it's just a matter of just trust but verify, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. It, it's so I keep saying it, like you make it sound so easy. It's just like this is the game plan. So many people they don't have this framework, and like I talk to them in like a sales process or other businesses, and it's like no, just do this. Like yes, this is so good. So if you're listening to this, it doesn't have to be complicated. It's like have your
Right.
booking rate, know what your booking rate is, have your lead goal. If you get leads coming in and you can book these things, then you can figure out is it my booking rate? Do I need to fix my call script, or is it our lead problem? Do I need to fix my marketing? Can you talk to me a little bit about like marketing? Like, is it Google local service ads, Google business profile, Google ads, referrals from realtors, or like what does that look like?
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix of things, right? You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So, yeah, I do have local service ads. I have very active on my Google business profile, making sure we're posting updates regularly, pictures. I also sponsor my Google profile on Google Ads.
Nice. Yeah.
Um, I do a lot of Facebook. Every day we're posting on Facebook, not advertising on Facebook, but just posting
Yeah.
on Facebook.
Like in groups and
Um,
stuff, or just on your Facebook page, or
Doing groups also. My girl, she does.
okay.
She'll get on the local groups and just we don't really get any work from it, but it's a branding play, right? We're
Yeah.
just putting our actually we're posting our Google business profile on Facebook a
Oh,
lot
good.
on those groups. I do. I use SendGem
Nice.
um, because I love that they send out cards to the neighbors after every time we do a job. It's nice and
Yeah.
easy.
You just have it
Um,
synced with your jobber. So after
yeah,
an invoice, they do radius bomb, where then they
right,
send out the postcards to all the neighbors' houses that you were just at. They probably saw
right,
your trucks, and it's like, hey, you
right.
should use us. Love that.
Yeah. So in addition to that, I mean, we have branded vehicles. Um, we
You do
yeah,
any email
that's
marketing or text marketing or anything like that to
so
your past?
we do a few times a year. We'll do email marketing to our past clients, just to stay top of mind with them.
Nice.
Um, and then we're working on instituting a newsletter
Yeah,
we
that's
can
good.
send out, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
what we recommend is what we do. We have a content calendar, so like every single month we'll have a content calendar. Like right now, it's Thanksgiving time, so it's like prepare your home for the holidays, and then we'll do like a newsletter and social media posts based off of the theme. So then you know what your email newsletter should be about, and then your team knows what it should be about, and then you can get like a nice review, before and after picture, and then like cross sell a certain service that people would be interested in at that time.
Right.
So yeah,
Yep.
that works really good. I'm curious with your technicians. So you have 5 technicians. How do you manage their performance and make sure that they are making enough money, but also like maybe upselling or doing good work, or maybe you pay them for reviews, or like what does that look like? Because I'm
Yeah,
curious.
I'm a big believer in performance pay.
Good. Yeah.
So part of their work, they do have a checklist that they have to go through every day because I made the play, right? How I want a job to be done.
Yes.
So there's a checklist for how they do everything. Um, and then I give them a bonus based on the revenue per man hour that they generate. So they get a base hourly rate, and then at the end of the month, I calculate their average revenue per man hour for the entire month. And there's 3 different levels. First level gives them $2 an hour extra for the entire month.
Wow.
Second one gives them $4, and the third one gives them $6. So they get
Wow.
a really nice bonus. And then I incentivize them with $50 for every 5-star review they get.
Wow. Okay. So if we break this down, they are going to be incentivized to do more revenue in a shorter amount of time.
Right,
So then they have a higher revenue per hour. And if they can hit that number, they could get $6 an hour bump on
right,
top.
right,
And they could get to more jobs, presumably, and be
right,
willing to take on more jobs within a day. So
right.
that way they could make more money and do good work in a time frame. But then also the kicker on that is that don't just rush through your jobs. Also get 5-star service so you can
Right.
get $50 on top. So you're kind of covering both sides.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got
Yeah,
to do that. Yeah, but
definitely.
yeah, you don't want to incentivize them to rush through a job and get callbacks and create
Yeah.
problems for you.
Yeah, well, this is what happened at my home serve business was we switched to that revenue per man hour, but then we didn't have the kicker with the reviews, so people were just rolling through, and it was just like a mess.
Yeah.
So we had to revise it a little bit. Okay, I like that. That makes sense. And what about your operations manager? Like performance? however much you want to share, but like, what does that look like as far as making sure that everyone's aligned? Is he, I'm sure he troubleshoots and firefights callbacks or issues inside of that and manages text, but what does that look like?
So with him, since he does operations and he's also doing estimating sales,
Ah,
I
okay.
give him a 5% of the revenue
Great.
every month as a bonus.
Great.
So he's bought it. He's bought in as
So
like an
good.
owner, and
Literally.
he kills it.
Yeah, I bet because he already has that entrepreneurship mindset. He just doesn't like all the minutia of everything
Right,
else. So like let
right,
him cook in his lane, give
yeah,
him all the tools and team around him and just let him go for it. And if he's
right,
hungry, you're already giving him a great playbook that he can act like an owner, like an entrepreneur almost.
right, yeah.
So
And he does. I mean, I never get a phone call
yeah.
with any issues in the field. He's on it all the time.
Yeah, it is so good. There's a book called Buy Back Your Time from Dan Martell.
Yeah,
Yeah, and he has these replacement ladders like hire an admin, executive assistant, like you got that part covered with your
right,
admin. Then delivery piece, like get the technicians. Then marketing piece, which you got a marketing person.
right,
Then your sales team, which you standardize that, and then your management piece, which is now you have this guy who can oversee it.
yeah.
Sounds like a pretty bulletproof business. Do you do you want to scale it even more, or is it kind of like this? I mean, from what I'm hearing, it's like this is just a solid business that you can just like kind of keep running. But like, what does it look like as far as trajectory goes?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I do want to scale it more. I'm really looking at in 5 years. I want to be able to and honestly, I'm not really looking to sell the business. I want to create a money printing machine that just pays me and
Exactly.
allows me to travel in my boat and do what I want to do. So
Yeah,
that's my ultimate goal.
I love it. And I think for people listening to this, the less important you are to your business, the more free time that you can get
Yeah.
by just having this structure and framework inside of your company. With your business in particular, because this is something that a lot of people ask, is like, does that mean maybe opening another office in another location so that way you can capture that market? Or is it scaling up what you currently have with more technicians and more volume?
No, I think honestly, for my goals, what I want to do, I mean,
Mhm.
I think I'm okay staying with one location.
Yeah.
I can get it to between 5 and 10 million a year,
Yeah.
operating the way it does. I think it'll provide me what I need.
Yeah.
Um, but it's certainly something that you can scale. You can add additional cities to, and if you do that, I would look at cities that are within a day's driving distance of you,
Mm.
um,
Okay.
and do it that way. If I was going to scale it to the cities, that's what I would do.
Yeah. Awesome. So when you're like coaching people, I don't know like the type of people that you coach, but is there any like specific things that you ask them to uncover problems in their business, or maybe like the first like could you walk us through like what that looks like? I'm trying to be helpful for
Yeah,
people that are listening that like maybe there's some things that you could coach them on just virtually.
yeah. The first thing that you know everybody always has the same question is, how do I get more leads, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing we're doing is we're looking at how are they getting leads, where are they coming from, what methods are they using, who's doing their website, what's that producing. Um, so we try to correct that problem first, and then from there, we talk about performing. Once they start getting leads, how to perform the work, and everybody's first inclination is I need to hire another technician or a helper, but I always caution against that. Um, Hire an admin first, like
Mm.
a VR admin or whatever,
Yes.
so that they can help you get some of these things streamlined and SOPs taken care of. And you could be out in the field
Exactly.
working, until you can get that. Because if you try to hire a field guy and you're not properly set up for it, it ends up not working out. And then you're telling me that you can't hire good people.
Yeah. I want to pinpoint this because there are people that we know that we work with that are like $1 to $3 million that they're like, maybe the top tech, also the top salesperson, and they still don't have an admin or executive assistant or someone to help them. And they think that, oh, I'll just hire more people and I'll increase my revenue. But it's actually the complete opposite, which is you need to take off all the junk off your plate
Right.
so that you can just do what you do best
Right.
and then build the systems out. So then when you hire someone like what you're saying, they don't just burn out because you don't have the time to spend to help coach them and bring them up to speed, is what I'm hearing from you.
Absolutely. And, most guys that are doing this, let's be honest, we're businessmen. We're not
Yeah.
businessmen. We're tradesmen in the beginning, right?
Tradesman. Yeah.
So, and they hate doing admin stuff, but it
Exactly.
needs to be done. So why not, if you can get a virtual assistant for $500 a week that saves you all that time and still lets you go out and make some money in the field,
Yeah.
and does the crap that you don't want to do anyway. I mean, come on, who doesn't blow $500 in a week?
Yeah.
Um,
Exactly.
so
Nice. So it sounds like first it's like, hey, where are your leads coming from? And if you don't know that, you need to figure that out. If you don't have enough leads coming in, what are, is there any like small quick wins that you might recommend if you don't have that many leads coming in or you don't really know? Like, what would you say?
yeah, everybody's their first response is they get desperate and buy leads, and
Yeah.
you know how
Angie,
that
Home
goes.
Advisor, some,
Yeah,
junk.
and maybe when you first start out, you might have to do that, but I always encourage guys to get scrappy, get out there and network, join a BNI group, or go talk to other trades guys at Home Depot when you see them. Say, hey, I'm a handyman, or I'm a
Yeah.
plumber, I'm an electrician. Hey, let's work together. I can send you work, and we can. All these people, when you go to somebody's house, they're always asking who does this or does that,
Yeah.
right? That's free. Doesn't cost anything, um, and be really big on asking for referrals from your customers. Getting around and spend $100 on some door hangers and go hang door hangers in a nice neighborhood.
Yep.
Um, all that kind of stuff. It just requires your time. It requires you to just be doing something. Sometimes just doing something makes all the difference, right? If you're sitting at your computer because work is slow, trying to buy leads from Angie's List or whatever. That's just not the
Yeah.
way to go.
Yeah. I think the activity of just going out and doing things is going to create momentum in your business.
Absolutely.
And the ironic thing, Phil, is that we see people that get to like 3 to 5 million, they kind of get in this like cozy phase of like, oh, my Google business profile is fine, like I've got some Google ads running, and then they kind of lose that fire in the belly of like go out there and build the relationships. Not that you have to go out to BNIs, but what you can do is incentivize your team to do those same actions, like your technicians.
Right.
If you do a self-generated lead, then you get X amount of dollars,
Sure.
or self-generated referral. And you can almost build that component of what you're talking about, that hunger, inside of your company as well.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
it works all the way around. But definitely if you don't have leads, then like go like join BNIs, go out there and do things. But also don't lose that as you continue to scale, because that's really
Right.
what scales businesses.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah. I love that. All right, Phil. Well, this has been great. So, where should people go to connect with you? Maybe they want to reach out to you, they have questions, or check out your business.
Yeah, the easiest way is just to find me online at rapidrepairpro.com.
Awesome.
And if you want to talk to me personally, just when you fill out the form, just say, "Hey, I heard about Phil on this podcast," and my people will get me in contact with you.
Awesome. Cool. Well, it's been great to connect, and look forward to continue the conversation.
Hey, I appreciate it. It was a good time. Thanks.
Yeah, man. See ya.